Okay, so there is what we call variations of the conditional statement. So you have a conditional statement, which is if P, then Q. Okay, so let's say if I am hungry, then I eat. So if P, then a Q. Then we have a variation which is called the converse. So you have to be able to understand if asked for the converse, inverse, contrapositive, or negation of a given conditional, you should be able to write it in the correct form. So the converse is the conditional swapped, right? So if Q, then P. So given the original conditional statement, the converse would be if I eat, then I am hungry. So the Q and the P swap positions. That's all that's happening here. Then we have the inverse. The inverse goes back to the original conditional statement, but each component of the conditional statement is negated. So not P, then not Q. So what is that going to be in words for this example? So if I am hungry, if I am not hungry, then I don't eat. So my original conditional statement was if I am hungry, then I eat. The inverse must be the not of the P. So if I am not hungry, then the not of the Q, then I don't eat. Okay? So then we have the contrapositive, which is just the inverse swapped. So what would that look like? It'll say if I don't eat, then I am not hungry. Okay? So you have a given conditional statement, then you have to be able to do all of the variations depending on what is asked, and that's just rewriting it in the correct form. The last one is the negation. So the negation of a conditional is different from negating a simple statement. The negation of the conditional isn't just you throwing in nots into the statements. The negation of the conditional completely changes the symbol and the connective of the conditional statement. So the negation of the conditional changes it into an and. So in order to negate the conditional, you have to take the P, so I am hungry, and I don't eat. Okay? So the given conditional said, if I am hungry, then I eat. The negation of that is, I am hungry and I don't eat. Okay? And so you just have to make sure you remember that negation is changing the truth value of a conditional. It's not just throwing in the words not or taking the words not out. So you just have to pay attention to that. Okay? All right, so let's do another one. Okay, so on this conditional statement, it says, if it's not cold, then it's hot. So we want to be able to write all of the different variations of that conditional statement. So realize that our original P is really a not P. So you keep it as it is. So if Q, then P. So what's that say? That says if it's hot, then it's not cold. The inverse, not P, then not Q. So the not of this P. So if it's not cold, so what is the not of a not? The not of a not is. So if it's cold, then it's not hot. And so then the contrapositive is just that statement flipped. So if it's not hot, then it's cold. Okay? Now, also, when you're looking at the conditional, sometimes it is possible where they will not have the then. They'll have the if and the comma. So if it's not cold, it's hot. So you have to assume the then is there. That is also possible where they don't have to actually show the word then. It is understood when you see the word if. Okay? Then we have the negation. So the negation of this would be it's not cold, and it's not hot. Okay? It's not cold and it's not hot. And that is how you rewrite variations of the conditional statement.